Welcome to the Guardsman Bunk Warhammer 40K podcast. My name is Miggy. Thank you so much for watching. Here today is my co-host. Take it away.
Hello, I'm cross. I'm cross. I'm cross. I'm cross.
Yes, he's cross. He's hot cross buns. Uh, Before we start with our episode, Cross would like to remind you a few things.
Yes, remember, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification button.
And remember, please touch your computer inappropriately. The Omnissiah would very much love that. Alright, so let's get into today's episode. So today we're going to go on a little bit of a side tangent. I told Cross about this episode like I think like 2 days ago, and like he had no idea that we were doing this, but like it just showed up on the
Yeah,
schedule. So
yep.
I'm recording this currently at 10 p.m. at night, and I have work. Oh, also, before we start the episode, we would like to apologize for the long era of delay. Cross can vouch. We've had a lot of stuff. He's had school, and I've just recently joined the police force. So that's kind of fun.
Yes,
And we're all
yes.
getting on with our lives. So it's very cool, very fun. All right, so let's
Very.
get into today's episode. We're talking about Khorne, the blood god, blood for the blood god, milk for the cornflakes. I'm milking corn right now. What?
Get out.
Yeah, everybody kind of knows what corn is. Everybody should know what corn is. If you were a Warhammer nerd, if you've been into fandom long enough, you hear the phrase constantly repeated over and over again: "Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne, milk for the cornflakes." Everything like it's
For the
synonymous with the universe. In a universe where the tagline is "In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war." I mean,
Mm,
the universe is called Warhammer 40K, right? I feel like that's kind of speaks for itself.
self-explanatory.
It's self-explanatory. I mean, it's not that difficult. Oh, I love this art piece, by the way. I'm just gonna side tangent for like 5 seconds. This art piece is so nice. Like if you look into the background, it's Khorne, Slanesh, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and it's like Horus and the Emperor. Oh my God, this chef's kiss, chef's kiss.
Tough.
Touch me. It's so good. The
Whoa.
Whoa, calm down now. All right, so let's get into today's episode. So we're talking about corn. Um, Again, anybody who knows corn kind of guesses what corn is. Corn is your very stereotypical god of war, big angry demon, blood, fountains, fire, holy, holy hellfire raining from the sky, and like red things showing up as swords to beat you to death. Right? It's
Sounds about right.
very It's quite stereotypical. I mean, okay, what is your first impressions of corn? Like, what is the first things that come to your mind about corn?
Just all bash, no thinking.
Oh, bash, no thinking. I feel like that describes most things in Warhammer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're like getting into the origin a bit of corn. So the old lore, like I'm talking like way before our time. Like my dad's here. Dad, when were you born? 19. It's around the 80s, right? So Warhammer showed up around the 80s, and the lore during the 1980s it said that Khorne was born during the medieval ages of humanity, which I feel is like so like the timeline is so skewed. Like the timeline is so bad. It's genuinely like so bad. It's like
Beyond it.
split off 1,000 levels. But, but, but that's been retconned. So the old lore states that Khorne was formed during the medieval ages, and the murder that came with it sort of fed him. Realistically, Khorne's beginning is a bit difficult to understand, so we're gonna get into that. Khorne is oh, by the way, if you don't know who Khorne is the big demon guy with the gigantic horns over there. He's this dude. Oh, by the way, this is like I don't know what this is John Blanche art, but this is so I love this. It's so good. Like it's so campy. It's so 80s campy. And it's so 80s coded. It's so 80s coded. The So we're getting into a bit of corn here, right? So you see
Yeah.
him, he's a massive, 10 billion foot tall red thing with skulls and fire and blood and
Yeah.
demons. wings and axes and all sorts of stuff you can only see on a Metallica cover. He's described as existing outside of, or rather, beyond understanding of modern reconstruction of physical
Mm.
dimensions.
Mhm.
This implies he exists even beyond the canonical flow of time or space, meaning the easiest way to understand him scientifically is a seventh dimensional being or some shit. I don't know. I
Mm.
failed physics. Like I stopped physics at 60. There's a reason why I went into humanities. I'm
Same
making
as
up
well.
shit as I go. If you can't tell. So it's
Same,
both the
same, bro.
base of war. Okay, wait. Because I'm talking to an engineer here. Like, does that kind of make sense? Like, it's the idea is that you're talking one, two, three, four, and then fifth dimension, which is
Yeah.
time, and then
No, fourth
sixth,
is.
fourth is time. So what the hell is
Yeah.
fifth and sixth? You see, this is why I
Might be
failed
gravity or
physics.
something. Pretty sure it's
Yeah,
gravity.
it's probably gravity. The thing is that he exists out of the mortal, like restraints of the moral universe, right? So any force that acts on us wouldn't act on him,
Mm-hmm.
i.e., he exists beyond the fifth or possibly sixth dimension that we probably haven't discovered yet. Like, in
Mm.
essence, this is he's not tied to any force that exists on us.
True.
He he exists even like I said, he exists beyond the physical universe. It's so he kind of exists within the warp, but also has
Yeah.
a visible presence in the physical world. An example of him
Yes.
was Arthur Bowman, which is a book series, where he canonically got out of his chair, the big chair that he's sitting on here, cracked open a beer, and put his hand on Angron and helped split a planet in two with a swing of a sword. He KD'd a planet for no
Yeah.
particular reason other than there was a psyker on it.
Sounds about right.
It's yeah. I mean, I'm describing like 90% of Warhammer 40k lore
Yeah.
at this point. Some
About
some
sums up.
god decided some god decided to step up out of his chair and decide to crack a planet. Um, why
Crack
I
a
don't
planet.
know, but crack a
Yo.
planet. He
Crack a
cracked a
planet.
planet. Uh,
Yo.
he cracked. I think it was the I can't remember what planet it was called. He essentially
One of those planets. One of those.
yeah, it's one of those planets. It was home to a second astronomicon. So like the stuff that's keeping the Emperor alive, it had a second one of them,
Right.
right? It had a second one
Ooh.
of them. And Khorne decided that he took personal offense to that and decided to destroy everything, not just within that planet, within the system and the systems around it.
Hmm.
Because yes. And then he let out a
Because.
blood tide because a blood tide exists. And it is a murder wave because a murder wave exists. And essentially every single Imperial force within the region like was lost to Khorne. Which I can see him doing, like I feel him doing.
Yeah.
This was aided by Angron, the angriest man alive. Like I'm not even
Mhm.
kidding. I feel like he's the angriest man alive. He's only outdone by Sanguinius, but that's because Sanguinius is never angry. It's like a bullshit theory. He's just so angry he just stops being angry. It's
Yep.
insane.
Yep.
It's insane. Insane brain. So he is the originally like I mean concept wise, Khorne is the personification of murder. He is violence, carnage, and rage. At his most basic form, you see him as the big angry man with giant. Yeah, by the way, I edited this thing. He's a big
Yeah.
angry man with giant horns and a sword and axes that burns anything and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
he lives in the domain of eternal spiritual fire, where, and I quote, the ground and the sky are literally fighting each other. So, like, the sky would throw lightning down at the ground, and the ground would fire like lava through like volcanoes or something like that. It's 80s campy violence. Like it's just so over the top. I love Khorne. I love Khorne.
Yep.
If you can't tell, I'm the greatest world eater fan to ever world eat. It's beautiful. I love it so much. He's a metaphysical entity formed as an emotional and psychic gestalt, born from the collective rage, hate, fury, and bloodshed of all mortal souls, where no matter how insignificant the rage, all of it fuels his power and lets it sink the universe into a greater and deeper bloodshed. Need I remind you, he is the personification of a negative feedback loop. The angrier you get at him, the more powerful you be, and the more powerful he'll be, and therefore the more powerful you will be, and the more angry you get, and the cycle continues.
Yeah, it's like a toxic ex.
It's mm, don't remind me.
Whoa.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me. Why are you choking? Why are you laughing? Speed? Why are you laughing, bro? Why are you laughing, Speed?
Move
This
on,
is
move on.
funny, Speed.
We continue, we continue.
We continue. Realistically, it's more complicated, becoming the personification of justice, strength through power, and determination, focus through will, and specifically a masculine-like strength through physical domination, raw martial pride, and raw unfiltered aggression. Doesn't mean ladies don't have a play with corn. It's just more rare. I say this. There is one lady that will forever take the big 100 with me. Her name is Lotara Siren, and she is a top G because she has genocided more planets than Karn has killed people.
Ooh.
And that's a lot of people. Mind you, oh, I did this math by the way. Khorne killed 1 million people on the in the book Siege of Terror. He said that he killed 1 million people when he finally died. Siege of Terror lasted 6 days. That means he killed 1 million people over 6 days. So if I did the math right, that means he killed 12 people a second.
Damn,
Do you
that's a
know
lot
how
of people.
fast you have to be to kill 12 people a second? And he didn't even use guns, he didn't use bombs, he used these hands and through these hands. Like that's
So
just it's just
that
beautiful. It's beautiful. The concept
Irish
itself is beautiful.
shirt, please
Yeah,
hang it outside. Thank you.
that is quite beautiful.
That is quite beautiful. Corn, again, corn is the pure, undiluted essence of focused, combative rage and fury that distills itself into its rawest form. It is both mindless aggression and unsettling focus in the pursuit of killing and execution. So, one of the things to note about that is that one of Khorne's greatest followers, Khorne's greatest soldier, Khorne the Betrayer, who said that it was betraying time and betrayed all over Erebus, screw Erebus. He's noted as having a very unsettling focus, very
Mm.
unsettling mental focus during times of peace, which is very interesting because then that shows that there's a dichotomy between Khorne, right?
Dichotomy.
So
Big.
big words. We're using big words today. Big
Very
words in the World Eater episode. At the end of this episode, it's just gonna be me screaming "Blood for the Blood God." Um,
blood for the blood god.
Blood for the Blood God. So
Blood for the
let's go
blood
into the
god.
background. Korn is your classic demon and antagonist with like purely evil, quote unquote, evil sentiments of rage, fury, undiluted focus on slaughter. He's portrayed as a god on a throne of skulls, with horns and a sword with waterfalls of blood and
Mm.
gore that surrounds him in boats. His aesthetic is very overly exaggerated and aggressive. Um,
Yes.
his coloring is red and bronze
Surprise,
and
surprise.
brass, and is a very stereotypical berserker type coloring and background. See, look at this guy. Isn't he like the sweetest man alive? Like he looks so kind and gentle. Yeah, like look at the faces. They look so happy. They just look so happy to be on the back of his armor.
You're
He looks
right.
so happy. Isn't he so happy? He has a screaming grill over his mouth. It's illustrated as a point of concentrated fury, not in an evil sense, just undiluted fury. He doesn't even look so happy. He's just so happy. He has a screaming box for a mouth. He just ripped off his mouth and just replaced it with a screaming box. He has an axe.
Because
He
why
has a
not, right?
yeah. I'd like to remind you to the first meme. Come here and give me a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. So,
Because he's
interestingly
tired.
enough, Khorne in the modern days actually portrayed something a bit different. He's an antagonist for sure, but he's more the sense of undiluted fury, like a raw, inhuman fury. He is and he's almost in an uncontrolled state and illustrates it more as a force of nature rather than the evil force. Mind you, somebody
Mm.
wrote this script for me. Similarly, he embodies both the good and bad aspects of everything. He both embodies rage and
Mhm.
slaughter and wanton violence without direction, as well as, interestingly enough, ideas of a pursuit through noble strength and conquering martial prowess and striving for purpose and direction. Physical strength and direction. I'd like to point out this guy has biceps so massive they're probably the width of my thigh. And like, I'm not even joking. Like, look how massive this guy is. He's a walking refrigerator. He's walking
Get
into
off his
battle,
dick.
bro. He's walking into battle without arm
Right.
armor, and he's holding an axe. This is either the stupidest or the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and this is why I love the World Eaters.
For the love of the game.
For the love of the game. Moreover, he embodies a lot of more psychological concepts outside the game, which can be touched on later. Cross already has his view on things. I'll explain to him later. He's still very confused.
Super.
His his purpose is quite simple. This is credit to Pancreas No Work, spelled Pancreas No Work. He's a very good Warhammer, uh, Warhammer YouTuber. And I quote, I unga, and therefore I bunga. Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull god, milk for the cornflakes. I unga, and therefore I bunga.
Yeah.
It is the truth in all humanity. I think, therefore I am. He's the rock and roll designated faction for Warhammer, with all the heavy metal demon aesthetics and skulls and sword and fire. It's all, and I quote, absolutely effing sick. You notice that in my previous videos I swear a lot. The only reason I'm not swearing is because my father is here. Say hi, Dad.
Nice.
The actual corn, corn is directly next to me, and it's quite scary. Some of you will laugh. Some of you will laugh, but you have not experienced dad strength before. My father has biceps that rival what I see in like video games. It's quite scary. It's quite scary. I don't swear around him. On a more deeper note, in the universe, he acts as a metaphorical shelter for the broken and the lost, the warriors, the discarded, the strong and powerful with no escape. He is an allegory for dark nihilism, depression, and addiction. But this is the point that we'll get into later. Like I said, everything comes later. That's what I can't say that. She is a very poignant remark on about. I would finish that joke. I would finish that joke. I would finish that joke. I just can't right now. I just can't right now. I'm very tired. If you guys want to know a tidbit about my day today, I had my range shooting and my classification today, and I had to like handle like this very pissy thing. Like I swear that it was
Very
the gun was born from the bowels of chaos itself. It pisses me off so much. I named it after somebody. I named it after somebody very special, only to piss myself off.
very special indeed.
It's incredibly special. Yes. He's a very poignant remark, moving very quickly along. Khorne is a very poignant remark on the powerful of discarded things and lost men with little purpose. This is interesting. If you want to read more, read into the World Eaters. We're gonna have the next episode is gonna be on the World Eaters. I'm just pre-preparing you for that. He is so canon representation. He is represented mainly with demons, as well as the greatest legion of all time, the World Eaters. I refuse to hear any slander, or I am biting your ear off. Like I'm not kidding. I will go down to your house and I will bite your ear off.
They're overrated. Can't
I'm
buy
a
them.
Warhammer fan. This,
But
this is beautiful.
it is.
It is
I kind
beautiful.
of.
It's yeah, I quite like it as well. Like, it's so nice, right? The art, the thing is like the what side tangent for a little bit. One thing that I've noticed a lot is that every time I've run into women in Warhammer or women in Warhammer, they say that they can never understand Khorne. I will get into this later, but like every time I meet like some guy, specifically I meet a veteran or like a fellow PO, like a
Yeah.
fellow police officer or some guy from law enforcement, they always say they love Khorne.
Yeah.
I could never
Sounds about right.
understand why until I started seeing like some of the actual art. And like, okay, I have to make a disclaimer. I had to like expand some of these arts. So like these are original arts that were made by somebody, but I expanded them using AI to like fit the screen. Some of them. I will put a disclaimer. This is one of them. There'll be one next after this, but after that, there's no more. Just a disclaimer for everybody. So, canon representation. He is represented with characters with such subtle names as Scarbrand, Kabanda, Kong the Betrayer, Angron. Yeah, no, okay. I got to this part and I have to put a disclaimer. That is not his full title. His full title is Angron Thalkir, Lord of the Red Sands, Master of the Twelve, Butcher of Terror, Red Angel of
Mm.
Nuceria, Emissary, and Most Blessed by Khorne. Such is the power of Nagash.
Mm.
Such is
Mm.
the power of Nagash.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. His
Mm-hmm.
Khorne's greatest demons are Bloodthirsters. That's 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 a that's a Bloodthirster.
Nice.
That's a
Oh,
Bloodthirster.
shit.
This is a Bloodthirster. Um, this is a Bloodthirster. This is a Bloodthirster. This is a Bloodthirster. This is a blood. This is not a Bloodthirster. This is Bloodletter. This is a Bloodthirster. This is a Bloodthirster. There's so many Bloodthirsters. Like there's so many. Uh, his greater demons are bloodthirsters, which are tiered to 8 hosts of a demon in each tier, commanding 8 demons in the following tier. So think about it. So it's like 8 demons in the first tier, 64 demons in the second tier, and then um, 8 to the power 3, 8 to the power 4, 8 to the power 5, 8 to the power 6, 8 to the power 7, all the way to 8 to the power 8. By
I
doing the
see.
math, you get about 19,173,960
Hmm.
bloodthirsters.
Only.
Only, it's such a pitiful number. Don't mind you, one bloodthirster is usually enough to turn most planetary scale battles, and the bloodthirster at any one point in time will be the worst thing you'll see on a battlefield unless you're a Primarch.
Yes.
And there are only 12 Primarchs, and there are
Yeah.
20 million bloodthirsters.
Yep.
Skulls for the Skull Throne. Skulls for the Skull Throne. Bloodthirsters are distilled violence and blessed with both the strength and fury of Khorne, being his emissaries to send out and kill wherever needed. They're usually very capable at melee, and sometimes they have range. Because they have blood whips. Because of course they have blood whips. Why wouldn't they have blood whips? This is a blood whip. That has the tension of a steel cable. Um, they usually have horse-like features and bull-like features, and they may also, unfortunately, have dog-like features, suggesting that dogs in Warhammer don't go to heaven. They go straight to Khorne. So say goodbye to Fido. He's gonna join the Bloodthirster.
Okay.
It's a reference to Caesar's "Let Slip the Dogs of War." Um, it's a quote from I think Shakespeare, if I'm not wrong. Uh, and but also that think about it. What would be the use of a dog in 40K?
Yeah.
One of my friends is K9, so he's in the K9 unit, and his nickname last time used to be called SOC. How do I put this? SOC Wiener. SOC Wiener. It's because we used to joke. He's the Asian guy. We used to joke that he had like he went to SOC and essentially he had an SOC Wiener, and we were all pressuring him to name this dog SOC Wiener, and I quote, uh, "Teach him to bite off, teach him to bite balls. Call him SOC Wiener." And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that would be 90% of what dogs are doing in Warhammer. Like it's they are the goodest boys for Khorne.
Yeah.
For Khorne. Oh,
Of
fun
course.
fact. I found out bloodthirsters are 16 meters tall.
Wow.
If you want to know what 16 meters tall, that's 55 feet. If you want to know what 55 feet tall, I think that's about 5 stories. Hold on. How tall is 55 feet? Sorry, that is 5 stories. 5 stories tall. So you have a 5 story tall red looking thing with bat wings and a giant axe running at you, screaming blood for the blood god, and it wants to kill specifically you. I would cry. I would cry. Like I wouldn't even fight at that point. I would just cry. His
Yep.
uh lesser demons are called bloodletters. They're just smaller, angrier bloodthirsters without wings, with swords and axes. And there are like so many of them. Like I'm not kidding, there's so many of them. If you play the first Space Marine game, you realize how difficult they are to kill and like how many of them there are. Because they're all like demons purpose built by the god of murder to murder. Like it's just scary.
Yep.
And you notice they're like all like bodybuilders. So like they're essentially bodybuilders but angry and murdery. His demon Primarch is where is it? I can't find him. You know what? This is a good analog. His demon Primarch is Angron Thalkir, Primarch of the World Eaters and his respective legion, which is massive and made of bloodthirsty, insane berserkers that can 1v1 most things and 1v1 100 even more. They all are actually clinically insane and unable to form coherent thoughts because of these. They're called the butcher's nails. When we go to the World Eaters episode, we'll get into that. I'm gonna be cross. I'm gonna be cross talk about some of the World Eaters and find some of his favorite World Eater characters and present them. Because
Sure.
this guy refuses to talk in the episodes. I'm gonna make him do work. It's called slave labor, gentlemen.
Yep. Yep. I'm not getting paid
Yes.
for this, by the way.
Yes, baby! The human worshippers of Khorne are quite literally insane as well, drawn from desperate men and women wanting a way out, as well as mortal warriors looking for an eternity to feel true power and mortality, as well as just power-hungry warlords looking for eternal war. So you have a range of people going to Khorne. It's the desperate, the hungry, and the people who have true like reason to go to Khorne, and then you just have like Vlad the Impaler on the other hand. So let's get into history. Horn was there since the beginning of time, considered a primordial force along with his brothers. Give me the names.
No go. No go.
And, and,
Wait. I got
one
this. I
more,
got this.
one more,
No. Not
one more.
Slanesh. The other one. Other one.
He will cut off his own arm tell you to look right, smack you with it, and say that's all part of his big plan, and then explode.
Uh,
Bird,
oh, shark.
big blue bird, big gigantic blue bird that can throw magic at you.
I forgot.
The changer of
Oh,
ways. You know what? Screw this is Zeech.
oh, you're right. It is it. Good job.
It's
That's all
Zeech.
part of my. You passed
That's
the
that's
test.
that's all. That's all part of his greater plan. It's
Yes,
all part of the
correct.
plan. At the beginning. Oh god, I hate Zeech, by the way. I genuinely hate Zeech. Like, he's the most difficult to understand. I will hate the Zeech episode. Zeech,
Yeah.
Ultramarines, and Alpha Legion. Those would be the two that I hate. I am
And then just
Alpharis. I am Alpharis, this is a lie. I am Alpharis, and this is not a lie. I'm not Alpharis, this is not a lie. I both am and am not Alpharis, and this is the Schrodinger's box of whether I can tell a lie.
hmm
I am
Yep.
Alpharis, and this is a lie.
In essence,
At the
in essence.
beginning, yes, in essence. In the beginning, he embodied masculinity and violence in all its aspects, both the good and the bad. Like earlier mentioned, he represented murder, slaughter, violence, killing, violence, 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 and more violence to violent ends. He also represented true honor, martial prowess, capability, physical strength, and mental strength, as well as true grit and determination. He
Mm.
was a primordial force that fed off any living beings. From the moment the first being killed another with a stone. Now, don't you think that's a little bit interesting that he represents both the good and the bad? Like, I honestly only found that when I was researching, and I like couldn't wrap my head around it. But like, I feel like that's so interesting to make him both a good aspect and a bad aspect of, I guess, human nature. But that
hmm
was like later lore. I feel like that. I feel like he's slept on. I feel like he's genuinely slept on. Because the others you can like understand. Like Nurgle is love and hope. It's love and like kindness, but it's also rot, decay, and disgust, right? Zeech is change, it's hope, it's also change. It's a lot of change. It's so much change. Like, you don't understand how much change I'm gonna do to you. Slanesh is pleasure and excellence. Again, Slanesh is also pleasure and excellence. I would like to remind you, pleasure takes 90% of what is doing. Sex. Sex. Yes, that's the
Yeah.
word. I love hearing that from somebody before because he was trying to explain Slanesh to me, and he like just ended on that, and he just turned around and walked away, and I was just left with that like mental flashbang, and I was like thinking, yes, sex.
I see.
I never know what I thought about Slanesh. That
I
was
see. I
so
see.
sad. I'm sure you thought that I was gonna say that. That's all I thought about for the rest of the day. No,
Yeah, I see.
no, no, I'm not that dirty. I'm not that dirty.
Sure, sure. Whatever
So
you
what
say,
is
bro. You say.
okay, sure. He was a primordial force that fed off living beings. From the moment the first being killed another with a stone. He is directly opposed to his brothers, viewing Nurgle as lazy and anathema to his ADHD style life, and Zeech as neither honorable or capable of true strength. He also saw him as paranoid and schizophrenic, neither schizophrenic nor paranoid. At some point, he just gave up. He is technically the oldest of his brothers,
Yeah.
which makes me relate to him more because I can understand as the oldest in my generation and my family that I cannot understand my younger siblings and my younger relatives sometimes because I didn't know what 6'7" was until about 6 months ago, and now I'm spamming it every single day. You can tell how much of a
Six
boomer
or
I am.
7 months ago.
7 months ago, jeez.
Okay,
So one
can.
of the things, yeah. Dude, when Teddy becomes
Yes.
my age, I will be 36.
It's something
Damn.
just
Oh, you're right.
I will be 36. That is
Sheesh.
horrible. That's
How pathetic.
horrible.
Goodness gracious.
He will be my age. I will be double my age right now. Like that's just so sad. It's just so
Okay, okay.
sad. All right, moving on. When the war in heaven happened, he got really fat, as the monstrous amount of slaughter meant that he was able to gorge and get his fill on the death and dying that happened around him, building strength until he began to form his own realm within the warp. Do you remember what the war in heaven is?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Necrons. Necrons.
Necrons and the
Necrons.
elder things
Yes, the Eldar and the Orcs,
and the orcs.
because we love the Orcs. When the
Mm-hmm.
Eldar took power, he kept passively getting stronger and fed off other species, with the concepts, now specifically bloodshed and murder, feeding him like no other. This is roughly when humans came around. During this time, he propagated and fed off human want for violence, invoking the Middle Ages and the long eras of conquering and violence. So you can
Mm-hmm.
see where the old lore is merging with the new, which is kind of unique to Warhammer. I feel like that's interesting.
Yes.
When the Eldar, and I quote, decided to get down with 3D Town, and I quote, the gang grooming a common god, and Slanesh was formed, I would like you to absorb the mental flashbangs of words that I just threw at you. Khorne, the oldest of the siblings and the most warlike, fought his sister's birth as hard as he could. It was said that he physically held back Slanesh until he could no longer, and it tore a hole through reality, now known as the Eye of Terror.
Mm.
He now hates Slanesh with a passion, with an interesting dynamic of older sibling versus younger sibling developing between Khorne and Slanesh. Khorne and Slanesh are both dynamic opposites and also too similar, with their relationship being because of their opposing philosophies. Khorne is like the older sibling who works hard no matter what, pushing forwards with little retention and focus on others, trying to achieve everything through hard work and focus. Whereas Slanesh is the younger sibling, having given the biggest cheat in the collective soul of an entire species as a power reserve when she was born, allowing her to pursue passions of life, which she cannot understand why Korn cannot appreciate that. So you can see the dynamic between the two. Really, honestly, it's a polar opposite, but they're both very similar. They both pursue perfection and growth. They just pursue it in very different ways. Korn is hard work. Slanesh is more exploring yourself and understanding your strengths and weaknesses.
Mm.
The the separation between the two. I mean, you can kind of see that. You can kind of see, like, honestly, I find that that sometimes happens with me because I'm very stuck in my mindset. You could tell I'm very stuck in
Mhm.
my mindset a lot. So for me, it's very difficult to understand what like some of you guys are saying sometimes. But like at the same time, I think it's not it's not it doesn't hinder our relation. It shouldn't hinder our relationship. Obviously, these are chaos gods. They'll find
Mhm.
anything to hinder a relationship.
Mhm.
I Yeah, that's true. That's fair enough. During the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy, the World Eaters and Blood Angels were the two main legions Khorne wanted to join the Cornflake Gang, with the Blood Angels being almost predispositioned for falling for him. It got so bad with the Blood Angels that Kabanda, the greatest demon of Khorne, is now sworn enemy for all eternity to slaughter, and he swore for all eternity to slaughter the Blood Angels.
Mhm.
Like, do you understand how hard your beef is? That like you swear for all eternity to kill this one guy. Like, mind you, the guy probably won't exist by the end of all eternity. But you swore to kill him anyway, so you're just gonna be wailing on his corpse for the rest of your eternal life the moment he's dead. Like, that's like some next level dedication. By the way, this is Kabanga.
Okay.
I love Kabanda. He's so nice. He's so kind. This gets so bad that when the Blood Angels, when the Tyranids came to Baal to kill Baal and the Blankles, He personally came with his legions of demons and slaughtered an entire hive tendril of hive leviathan. Do you know how big a hive tendril is? Do you know how
Uh-huh.
massive a hive tendril has to be?
Mm.
So we're gonna get into Tyranids one day, and I'm gonna talk about them. And one of the things with Tyranids is that I want you to imagine it's the epitome of these are Tyranids. You can see in the background these are Tyranids. That's one
Yes.
Tyranid, two Tyranid, three Tyranid, four Tyranid, billions of Tyranids on one planet. Why?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know, but they exist.
Mm.
And he soloed all of it. I love
Nice.
Khorne. I love Khorne. I love Khorne. Now that the
Yeah.
Cicatrix Maledictum exists, Khorne's eating good. He led a full-out assault on Terra and almost single-handedly took it. He's invaded every single world. Angron, led by Khorne, personally destroyed a mini Astronomicon and now has a personal grudge against Lion L. Johnson for reason only known to him. Probably not even to him. And so now Khorne is raging slaughter and bloodshed across the known universe. And when I remember when I told you Khorne is easy to understand, do you kind of get it now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, before we get into this next section, I would like to know what do you think of Khorne and how has your interpretation of Khorne been throughout this like cinematic universe?
I would say he, like you said at the start, he's very easy to understand at first. He's just rah rah, give me more blood, kill more people, whatnot. But the thing about him and Slanesh, that was quite interesting. The whole part about him being hardworking and hating laziness and whatnot. Interesting, interesting.
Interesting, interesting. The greatest way I could put it, when you first get exposed to the world eaters, wow, these guys are so sad. Oh, sorry. Wow, these guys are so insane. This guy is a bloodthirsty maniac. You learn more about this story. Wow, these are so sad. It's a story about cyclical child abuse and trauma and abuse as children. And the more you read about this story, this guy just beat somebody to death with his own arms. He tore off some guy's arms and beat him to death with it. No, these guys are absolute maniacs. I was right in the first place. I love corn. I love corn. But now we're going to get into a more deeper topic. So this is where I kind of need your. I'm going to interact with you a little bit. I'm going to interact with the audience a little bit. This is where I'm going to kind of break it down.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk about disclaimer. I'm gonna talk about a bit of sensitive topic. I'm gonna talk about male depression and suicide in modern day popular culture and how it's treated, and in reference
Mm.
to how this affects us as a modern society and how this affects media that we consume. So,
Mm.
like I said, corn is relatively easy to understand, right? We all love corn. Corn is so easy to understand. We think. My analysis of corn, and get ready for this, is that he is a long metaphor on male depression and nihilism. I'm not speaking
Mm.
on this because I am just a guy. I'm speaking on this because I've had time to digest this. When you see
Mm.
corn, all you see is bloodshed, violence, red, rage, murder, all that sort of stuff. He is so simple from the outset. But when you look more deep into him, it is actually more interesting. So I want to ask you, what what do you think? What do you think is the negative connotation of corn besides the bloodshed? This is besides the
Mm.
bloodshed.
Perhaps and mayhaps it would be. Hmm.
You don't need to be specific. You can just give me a rough, because
Yes, I'm trying to think. Mm.
Also, for all the ladies
Mayhaps,
out there, yes, continue.
mayhaps it would be um the point where striving becomes overworking. Mayhaps,
Interesting,
mayhaps.
interesting take. Interesting take. That's going to come up
Mm-hmm.
later. The point that
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go for was feudalism and nihilism. And now you're asking me, what? How does Khorne represent that? Khorne is kind of the go crazy and kill everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is where I'm going to break it down. Khorne, like I said, is the god of bloodshed, but he is also the god of strength and purpose. His followers are those who have been given little to no chance in life to pursue, who have been beaten and fed on by a system that rejects them and sucks them for all their worth, spitting on their image and defaming them like monsters. I want you to think about it now. Most of Khorne's worshippers are just simple men who were warriors, who were soldiers, and then were discarded.
Mm-hmm.
And we have enough media in our modern day to look back and realize how soldiers and warriors and people who have served in that line have been abused, have been so rightfully abused by their government. And you would think like that would affect you eternally, right? His followers
Mm-hmm.
are old warriors and men who have been given little life beyond toil and earn, with the promise of wealth, comfort, and even fame, but were inevitably denied all of it by those who sat in the ivory towers. Now, I want you to imagine it first. Now, I want you to imagine it for a second. I will give my own 2 cents on this later. I want you to imagine it for a
Mm-hmm.
second. You ever been in a position where you spent hours, say hours working on a project, putting your life and soul into it, and you put
Yes.
all your soul into it, and then somebody else takes the credit for it.
Uh-huh.
You've gotten it once, right? Is
Yes.
that
Or twice.
sense of injustice, right? It's that sense of I worked so hard for this. I deserve my reward. I deserve what I want to get. I'm not asking for much, and yet it's been denied to me. That's,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to imagine, that's what Khorne followers feel like. And
Mm-hmm.
Khorne promises justice. He doesn't promise his followers comfort or love. He only promises justice. In the
Mm-hmm.
simple terms, I've heard this phrase describing his followers. I have been denied all that I have been promised. In the shadows of lies you've concocted to feed off my work. I have nothing left, and all I can do now is get equal. And you promised me a way back into the comfort of the system feeding off of me. But this new God, he's promising me something sweeter. He promised me revenge. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see where I'm going with this? The the dark bit of Khorne is not the murder and the skulls, because the murder and the skulls is easy to understand, no doubt. But it's the dark part of it is how easy it is to fall for him when you reach that low. The people who worship Khorne are never rich men in their ivory towers. They are tired, they are broken, they are desolate. They have nothing else to earn from the world. They just want payback. They just want what's worth. If I can make it simpler for you, a man is, as much as people like to deny it, a person is defined by the work and the products that they leave behind, right? They have a family, they have a good job, they left good relations with their neighbors. They were a kind man, they were a good man, they were a just man. In
Mm-hmm.
in the words for say people in the armed forces, he was a good soldier. He fought for his brothers, he fought for his friends, he fought for his family. He refused to fold.
Mhm.
What happens to somebody when you take everything that they've ever worked for, what they spent hours and hours upon, and just pull it away? You just pull it
Mm.
away, and there's like this vacuum left in you, massive, left from where your soul is supposed to be, where you put your hard work, your effort, your toil, everything into it, and it's all gone. In a snap of a
Mm.
finger, it's all gone. And you have nothing left. You can't get it back. It's been taken from you. You have nothing left. Wouldn't you go to the guy who promises you and tells you, I know you have nothing left. I'm aware of that. I'm not promising to get you more or to get it back from you because I know that you won't get it. I won't lie to you like everybody else lied to you. All I'm promising is that they hurt you, so I will help you hurt them, make them feel how you felt losing everything you owned.
Mm.
Isn't that? It's that dark whisper. It's that dark whisper. This is now where I get into the deep part of my analysis of Khorne.
Mm.
He can be seen as a distillation of the concept of lonely and empty men with no more reason to live, finding purpose in a dark place. By making the killing of the system that fed off of them their goal, the last bit of joy that they have in their life.
Mm.
Isn't Don't you think? Like, I want to hear your thoughts. Wouldn't that be so easy to fall to? So easy.
Yes,
Like
yes. It would.
it, like youth. It's not just that. It's that voice, that little whisper in your head that keeps reminding you that they took it from you. 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 Get back. Get even.
Mm.
Get even. Get even. And it's that it
Yes.
builds. It builds. It builds. It's
Mhm.
okay. I'm gonna use a personal story now, so I can explore this more depth, so you guys can understand. There was a point in my life, not so long ago, where during this was when I was in my basic training. So for those of you who don't know, in my country we have a basic military service, and one of the things about it is that we are isolated and away from our families for most of the week, and we are allowed to go back on one day and return the next day. This was when I was in basic training. And I'm going to get a bit personal here, but I feel like this is important for the analysis. I got low. I got really low.
Mm.
I struggled with, if I'm going to be honest, I struggled with grades. I struggled with a relationship that I had been trying to build but inevitably failed. I had struggled with family life. I struggled with social life. I had recently saw the loss of somebody not super close to me, but close enough that I knew him quite well.
Mm.
I witnessed how it affected other people. I witnessed how it affected me. I witnessed how it affects the people that I love, and how it like almost truly wrecked them. And it got me
Mm.
to a very low place in life, and I had little left. And there's this one point in my head where I realized one night when I was sitting alone in my bed that I realized that all of this, and maybe a few years ago I would have had somebody to talk to, that I was fully alone. I was so
Mm.
fully alone in my suffering, and there was no one I could talk to. And that was the darkest point in my life. That was the darkest point in my life, and I had no doubt that if I wasn't in constant awareness that I had to control myself and the way that I was acting, I would have done something rash. I would have done
Mm.
something rash because I had nothing left. Like, I had nothing left to yearn for, which, ironically, is where this comes from. It's that you toil and you work for, and for me, it was working for years and years and years to get to this goal, and it was snatched from me and it was taken from me, and what could I do? What could I do? what could I do? Because I couldn't fight these people. They were too high in the ivory tower. They were too disconnected from me, right? And I could blame it only on myself. I screwed up,
Mm.
right? That was my problem, and I got so mad and I got so low, and that's when I realized, funnily enough, why corn is so easy to fall to. Khorne,
Mm.
like you look at these photos, Khorne is such a big dramatic thing. Like he's great in demons with angels and wings and demons and stuff like that. But he's like, look at all of this. But in the end, all that Khorne really is a reflection of humanity's darkest desires. This was my wallpaper for the longest time because for me it was very introspective. It
Mm.
was it's his temptation is so real. It's that the idea it this is why I say it's a very specific masculine depression, a male depression. Because I feel like this is a pain that only that's specifically men feel a lot. Specifically like a very classic man. His it's the idea that as a proper man, you lived right your whole life. You deserve the reward of to be rewarded for your work. You deserve to the thing that has been so long denied to you. You've worked hard for it. Day and night you've toiled. You've given up hours, you've given up sleep, you've given up time with people, with loved ones, with everything. You put hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into it. Achievements, awards, struggling in the dark while getting spit on, your head down, just trying to be a good worker. The failure is what stings the most, and the temptation to give in is what makes it louder. You're just because at the end of the day, every single corn follower, they're just a man. They're just a man, and a man falls just the same.
Mm.
Corn, made simpler, is the little voice in your head that tells you to give up. He's alone. He's quiet, but he's there nonetheless. He acts as a metaphor and a in depression, the struggle of identity and depression, where suddenly when there doesn't seem to be a way out, what once looked like disgusting and abhorrent ideas it just feels so natural to me. Like, why didn't I hear about this earlier? I would have fallen for this earlier. I would have given in to this earlier. Like, do you get what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, it's that dark metaphor that it's just easy. Just give in. He also advocates for strength. Strength to play the stereotypical fantasy where your toil will be earned, that your work will be paid for inevitably. That he promises you that. He just angles it a bit differently. You don't need to do your work for good. I mean, you worked for good. Where did that end you up? No, you don't need to work for good. Just try something a little bit different. Try, going a bit left. Why don't you try just listening to me for once? Why don't you listen to your dark desires for once? Why don't you give in? And that right there is the dark thing. It's the dark thing in your head, right? It's that you work so hard for good. Why should you keep working for good? Why must you keep working for good? Does it pay
Mm.
you? I can pay you. I can pay you a lot. I can make sure every single thing you've ever done is paid back in blood. All you need to do is just say yes. I don't even need worship. I just need you to say yes. Do you see how easy that is to fall for? Do you see what I mean by it's the reflection of depression, anxiety? Just give in. Just give in. Just give in.
Mm.
He is the god of payback, essentially. He's the total nihilism that engulfs a person's heart. When he is lost to his rage and fully succumbs to the idea that there is no way out, he would rather lash out and burn everything he stands on than let it continue to make him feel so pitifully powerless. This is simple idea of anarchism at its core, saying fuck to the system and saying that I would rather watch everything burn because I have nothing to live for. So you should have nothing to live for too. It's that instant fix to your problem. It's the addiction. Just remove the issue entirely. A comment to be made on this. Okay, before I move on, do you have any comments on this?
Not really.
Not really. But like,
Nope.
isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting?
Mhm.
Isn't that interesting concept? This could
Mhm.
be a bit more interesting. A comment to be made on this is that it's a very much a play on a masculine and a feminine rage. Feminine rage is different than masculine rage. It is calculating, more careful, precise, and cold. I've heard someone describe it before as suppression and wanting to be seen, ending in an act of violence in order to prove a woman's worth. Masculine rage is more primal. It's the idea of defeating a problem by bashing its brains against the wall so thoroughly it can never disturb you again. It solves the problem by removing the problem in its entirety with little thought of the consequences because usually at this point when it manifests, reason has left the building. It's
Mhm.
without purpose. It's undirected. It's externalization of anger and darkness built up in a man's heart. A stereotypical guy, a average working class man, if he was really pushed, is willing to take shit. But his breaking point becomes that much more aggressive, and he almost becomes like an animal in a cage. That is the idea that Kung perpetuates that masculine fury, undirected and angry, using the rush of adrenaline and that instant fix of your problems is the lure that drags you in. But it becomes an addiction rather than becoming the preciseness of feminine rage, a targeted anger that becomes more of a whirlwind of violence, just aimed at everybody as a coping mechanism. You can see that in the way that how he's portrayed. He's not a cold, calculating thought and anger. He's not calm. He's not thought. He's not precise. He is lashing out at anything and everything for the injustice done to you. Like you have
Mhm.
nothing to live for, so why should they? Some for some of you who are a bit interested in the statistics for this, APA, the American Psychological Association, and East Point Behavioral Health shows that men are significantly more likely to exhibit physical aggression, impulsive reactions, and outward dominating behavior than women, such as shouting or hitting things. Neurologically, anger triggers the amygdala, flooding the brain with adrenaline and testosterone in preparation to fight. In men, traditional masculine socialization rewards this physical dominance. This is why Khorne's imagery is a literal unyielding rush of physical violence. It is the biological fight response, completely disconnected from the brain's rational filter, and a mirror, dark mirror, to men's reaction to stress and violence. Dr. Susan David, a leading psychologist at Harvard Medical School, notes that adult men are heavily conditioned to bottle or push emotions aside when experiencing frustration, anger, or stress, because men are taught that fear, sadness, helplessness are unacceptable. Their underlying depression is often masked and manifests exclusively as intense irritability, isolation, and volatile snaps. See if that rings any bells. And finally, psychology today shows a clear divide. Angry men almost always attribute their rage to external sources. This externalization heavily fuels revenge motives. A dark example of this is school shooters. Now, okay, this is where I'm gonna kind of lighten the mood a bit. I don't want to hear anything about American and school shooters in the comments. Please don't put anything. I've heard enough. I've heard enough. I've heard enough. I've heard enough. Back to the point. A significant number of school shooters in America in K through 12 are marginalized and bullied students who felt isolated and mistreated or poorly judged and criticized by their classmates for unfair things. This is still the most common trope both in media and in real life, with school shooters being seen as those with no little to no way out of their shitty life turning on their classmates and their friends. I once heard this behavior. So for me, this is I had a conversation with my dad. Dad, say hi. He's waving. I have once had a conversation with my dad about this. He said that this type of behavior is actually not meant to elevate a person's worth, but to drag everybody else down to where they are.
Mm.
Do you see the link with Khorne? Do you see the
Mm-hmm.
link with Khorne? It harkens back to
Mm.
the idea of carnal fury with no direction, the concept that I know I will die with no meaning to my life. So if I cannot be respected, then I choose to be remembered. It is the idea that if I can drag as many people down to hell with me as I can and show them the lows that I am living in and bring their lives down, then they will understand, and then I will bring myself justice. That is how I
Mm.
that they will understand how I feel. This is a very parasitic idea. This is a very parasitic idea, and when you've done it once and live that feeling builds, and you crave that next thrill of violence and retribution and justice until you're blinded by your bloodthirst and rage. Again, does this
Mm.
remind you of anything? Does this remind you of
No.
anything? No,
No.
no, no. That's
No.
so sad. All right. We're almost done. In reference to biblical ideas, Adam, when he was burdened by God, was forced to work the lands and fields and broken fields and toil for no work, which suggested the early concepts of futility in work. Essentially, it spoke of futility being an integral part of a working man's life, where you essentially get that midlife crisis of what is the purpose anymore? Khorne is anathema to all of that. He is the purpose. He makes retribution and violence or retaliation and rebellion the work and the product. You are released from your inhibitions if you just give in. Released from your burdens and your sins and your obligations if you just bash that head against that wall so hard that that head becomes that wall.
Mhm.
It is the promise and the life that he gives to his followers. A lifetime of just following that carnal desire to kill and kill and kill and kill and let the adrenaline and the blood flow.
Mm.
Let the blood flow. And this is
Mm.
where I want to make one final comment. Sure, okay. A bit of a side tangent. This is also a comment on PTSD and how that depression can drag you down similarly. And if any of you are veterans, and if you are longtime listeners are veterans, you guys will understand this feeling. You guys will understand this like mental trauma a little bit, and it's difficult to process for people who are not in life. But I mean, you can only understand up to a certain point until you see your friends get blown up by an IED, right? At least that's what I've heard. My final point is addressed to the audience, and this is where I need full focus. Please, especially for guys, and I've written this, I would like to mention mental health. I've been digesting this topic a lot, and I realize how flippant some of us are about it until it's too late. And I know mental health is taken very like unseriously by a lot of guys because like it's kind of that joke topic that you hear about, like, oh, somebody's gonna kill themselves. Like, yeah, okay, bro. Yeah, okay, bro. Like they never do it. They never do it. You don't think that they do it. You don't think they do it until they snap. You don't think
Mhm.
that they do it until that person is actually truly well and gone. I know.
Mm.
I know friends who lost people to suicide. I've known people who've been lost to suicide. I've known them in my social circle. I've known them outside. I've known them doing rash acts. I know them going out onto the street and just deciding that today is just the day and they get into a
Mm.
gunfight and they get shot and they die in this eternal blaze of glory. And men's mental health is just ignored like that because everybody thinks it's so distant from you until it reaches you. And that's the point that I want to make today. I've seen the aftermath of a proper suicide. Mind you, I'm a, I've been a police officer for what's now close to about 6 months now. And even in these 6 months, I've seen things. I've seen enough. I've seen enough. And I feel like I have the obligation to say this and a personal need to say this. If you feel anything what I described, no matter if you're a heterosexual, like classic guy, or if you're a girl, or if you're gay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. If you describe anything that I feel, you know what? It's so easy to ask for help. No, it's not easy to ask for help. Say something. Say something to somebody. Say something to somebody. Say something first to get it off your chest. Get it out of your mind. Trust me, I know. Trust me, that is the first step to healing. Trust me, I know. Please
Mm.
say something before you do something you won't regret. You won't regret. Maybe in your final seconds you won't regret, but somebody else will. Somebody else
Mm.
will. Somebody else will clearly regret. They will be heartbroken. They will be sad. They will feel like, why did I lose somebody like this? Why did they do that? And it's because you just didn't bother to say it. You treated it like a joke until it got to you. And if I want to make a lighter reference, it's like Khorne. Like the Imperium hides the fact that Khorne exists, but Khorne exists because he is the neglected and the broken. It's the lost and damned, those who have given their lives for a purpose and they've lost all of it. And they have nothing to live anymore, and they refuse to tell anybody about it. So all built up, and they finally turn, and you have Khan the Betrayer. Like, I'm sorry to make a joke about it, but like that is actually how it kind of is. And I think that is my final message that I want to end on today. I'm so sorry it's so dark, but if you are experiencing any sort of these symptoms that I talked about, this depression, this loneliness, this anxiety, this hatred, go talk to somebody. If you want to go find help, any help, veterans and law enforcement, if you or anyone you know is suffering from PTSD, go find somebody to talk to. There's always a chance before it gets too late. There's always a chance before it gets too late. One thing to learn from Khorne is that none of his believers are convinced they're doing anything wrong, and by the time they finally have their eyes open, it's already too late. Don't make it too late. On that
Yep.
heavy note, thank you so much for watching today's episode. I'm so sorry for ending on that. I would like to point out that the episodes like these aren't meant to be super dark and something like that, but it's meant to point out struggles in real life, right?
Yep.
Listen for all the
Oh, sure.
boys out there. Listen for all the boys out there, right? All the guys out there. You Everybody talks about men's mental health. Like we'll be honest, like people talk about men's mental health online, but nobody actually talks about men's mental health. Nobody actually talks about the byproduct and the end of this stuff. And I feel like, especially as the new generation comes in, we have to make that a priority so that we don't end with more waste, more loss. Isn't that like our priority to take care of each other as brothers? Like the Warhammer, like even in the Warhammer community, I know there are a lot of veterans in the Warhammer community. So if you know anybody you know suffering from PTSD, go find the time in your day to talk to them. It's important. It's very important. But
Mhm.
anyways, thank you so much for watching today's episode. I thank you for all the time that you spent with us, and I thank you for enjoying us. Cross, can you please send us home with a proper blood for the blood god?
Blood for the blood god. I'm a tad sick. My bad.
Yeah. Blood for the blood god. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Hello, this is me, Sminky. Thank you for watching today's episode. Me and Cross are very thankful for everybody's patience with us, especially as the episodes have not been coming for the past however many months. We've been a bit busy, obviously, and both of us are settling into a new life. It's taking a while, it's very interesting, but it is opening our eyes to how we can both balance how we want to continue this podcast and how we want to be able to further improve the quality of the episodes and how the episodes are going. We're generally very thankful for everybody's patience. We're thankful for everybody's time, and we hope that we can continue to improve. Now, that being said, the promise still stands. We will try to make sure that the future episodes are going to be better, and we are going to do an anime episode. I can't determine when, and I refuse to determine when, but I know Cross will do it. And so, yeah, I guess that's all. Thank you everybody for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and